All right. I want to be very mindful of everyone's time because time is precious. For me, money is time. I know you all have taken um, wonderful efforts to be here with us on this Saturday afternoon. So I want to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a little general introduction, not too long, about Love City Arts. If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up, those who can see. Are we good to go? Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay. Love City Arts is an all-inclusive art service organization that's based out of New York City. The collective is also an artistic home to New York City-based artists. These artists seek to give their gifts back to the community in the service of love, and they make music, share resources through workshops, classes, blog posts, podcasts, giveaways, and community organizing. Shameless plug, the giveaway I think ends tonight. I'm giving away a $25 gift card. There's only 4 entries right now, so if you're into that sort of thing, you may want to head over to lovecityarts.org after the call and jump on that. They also gather the whole space and build community through music, art, and the spoken word. We're also branching out into other areas. I've got astrologers and lawyers, and there's a new licensed professional counselor that's in the mix, so that's fun. Our mission is to heal and empower artists and the community through renewal and transformation. Hopefully something that you hear today from a panelist or your fellow participants will strike a chord within you, and hopefully you'll feel less alone along your creative path and journey. I started Love City Arts about 2 years ago to create spaces where creatives and non-creatives, although I believe that we're all creatives in our own way, can circle up and find love, support, and camaraderie. It's something that was elusive to me in this way, so I went ahead and built it. Thank you for being here and creating community. We are not alone. I can't say this enough. We are not alone along our quest. The purpose and intention of today's roundtable is to create and share space where we lead each other to our profound truth. We don't have all the answers. I hope I never set myself up online to sound like anybody's guru. Your teacher could be on the call miles and miles away from you, and it's not just the panelists that have cool things to say. There are no right or wrong answers in this space. I hope that you feel safe. And if you don't feel safe, please feel free to use that chat space that I was telling you about to let us know. I will shut shit down if you don't feel comfortable and you don't feel safe. That's what we're here for at Love City Arts. If you are an artist, community member, or a breathing human being, you deserve to be here and your guidance is valid. I'm here to learn from all of you as well. So let's just go. I've already told you about the digital raising of hands. This is a free and open space. If you have any questions that you would not like to speak, unlike Sherry, who has 3 kids over there having fun, I remember Saturday morning cartoons, then feel free to leave those in the chat space. We don't have to find all the answers on this call, everybody. We can be each other's guru. And just to let you know, these calls are recorded for replay to be released later in the week or month. Please keep that in mind. I always say this, I don't recommend confessing to a crime on these calls because they are recorded. And if you fall off the call and you have a video issue, please feel free to come back using your login credentials. We'll still be here. Last point, because we're learning and we're growing. 2 weeks ago, we had our first online roundtable, and so I'm taking some of the notes from the last one and bringing them into this call. I want to try in our question, not in the questions, but in the comments piece of what's coming up later. I want everyone to write down somewhere, hold out and hold up. And I found this online through the Unitarian tradition, and I'll explain it to you. And this is the tool that you can use when making comments later. Hold out and hold up is about what we say when we do talk and reactions to each other sharing. Now, after we continue to share, we're going to, instead of responding to each other with fixing or advising or saving, we're going to hold out gratitude for the one thing that struck us in particular as we listened. And we're going to hold up how it connected to our lives and helped us clarify something about our own situation. Okay? It requires a different kind of listening. Instead of analyzing or judging what people are saying, we're going to listen for sharing what connects with us personally and feels like a personal gift. Okay? Hold out and hold up. That will help us. You know, some people, when they comment back, they just end up in the bushes or on Mars or on Jupiter. This allows us to really go deep in this call with what, with what resonates with us. Okay. Those are my spiels. I think I've done pretty well. Yeah, okay. 5-minute, 6-minute spiel. Why not? Let's start with finding our own personal brand of courage, which is the reason why we're all here. But before we do so, let me take time. In the group chat, let me know who you are and where you're from. We already have Sherry from New York City, a book coach, ghostwriter, and speaker. I can't wait to connect with you after the call. Who else is in the space? Jackie from upstate New York. Jess, Brooklyn, New York in the house. I see you. Kamara from last week. Hey, what's going on? Forensic scientist, but entrepreneur starting. Anna from Manhattan, our panelist today, in addition to Jess. Forensic scientist. Okay, let's talk after this is all said and done. We can meet each other in the DMs, as the cool kids say. India, living in Atlanta, an actress. Yes. I think Amalia, I forget how to pronounce the name. I always mess it up. I think you're out in Wyoming, which is really cool. Alana, welcome back. Love City artist. Great. Cool. I'm so glad you're here. Hey guys, Andre, it's Alana. Boogie down. Boogie down Bronx. All right, good to see you. And you can come off of mute at any time that's appropriate and talk. I'm just, we keep sound background noise right now. Okay, thank you all for being here. We could not do these roundtables without you. Tell all of your friends if you have a good time about it. If you don't have a good time, tell them too. Maybe they're into not having good times. I'm joking. Finding your own personal brand of courage. Courage is defined. The origin is a Middle English word denoting the heart as the seat of feelings, from the Old French courage or Latin cor, meaning heart. Brene Brown says, courage is a heart word. The root of the word courage is cor, the Latin word for heart. In one of its earliest forms, the word courage meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Once again, to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Over time, this definition has changed, and today we typically associate courage with heroic or brave deeds. But in my opinion, this definition fails to recognize the inner strength and level of commitment required for us to actually speak honestly and open about who we are and about our experiences, good and bad. Speaking from our hearts is what I think of as ordinary courage. So everyone write that down right now. Ordinary courage. We'll come back to that in a little bit. And then I forget where I found this online, but I'll get back to you on it. Someone with courage is bold and brave, unafraid to face tough challenges, unlike the cowardly lion from The Wizard of Oz, who went all the way to the Emerald City to see if the wizard could have any courage to spare. In Middle English, once again, courage referred to as what's in one's mind or thoughts. Today, anyone with courage has only fearless feats and courageous acts in mind, but having courage means acting when others are afraid of danger, or simply acting without fear of failure. Write that down, fear of failure. Courage is without fear of failure. As the American poet Robert Frost advised, having courage and a little willingness to venture and be defeated. All right. We're on time. Now it's time to talk to or hear from all of our panelists. For the next 15 minutes, you're going to hear 15, 20 minutes. Take as long as you need, Jess. I completely trust your energy, and I love you. Jess Grippo is a Love City artist. I call everyone who's touched our space Love City artists. I just co-opt you into the mob of love. She has been so instrumental in the Love City journey. Over the last year or so, I think she's danced and brought our team from You Can Dance Again into our spaces at our healing gatherings in New York City, and we are looking forward to collaborations. I'm going to read her bio now. Although she quit dancing after high school and she thought she'd missed her chance, she proved she proved to her 19-year-old self and society, she proved that they were wrong. Her do-it-yourself dance videos on YouTube years later were a catalyst for reviving her dance practice and transitioning her career into her own business and brand, all based on dance. Since, she's been invited to speak and perform on stages like TED NYU, Lincoln Center's Dance on Camera Festival, New York's Got Talent competition show, and the New York Comedy Club. And while she was one of the shyest of shy ballerinas, seriously, she barely spoke to her classmates and was voted the most likely to be seen with a Tasty Delight ice cream cone. She is now frequently dancing spontaneously with strangers in the streets, subways, airports, parks, and more, and making videos with them. I hope she talks today about her bathroom dance series, but I'm not going to give that away. Her You Can Dance Again programs and videos have helped hundreds of people in New York City and beyond reclaim their sense of self through dance, feel at home in their bodies, and revive their creative expression. Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, Jess Grippo.
Thank you. Thanks for that introduction. Hey. I'm so happy to be here, Andre, and I'm so happy to be a part of Love City Arts. And if anybody, whoever is in New York, I encourage you to go to the live events. The first time that I went, it was just like, there's that feeling of like, I don't know what I'm getting into. I don't know what this is going to be like. And it was just nothing but welcoming and loving. And, especially in New York City where like the arts can be so competitive, it's so refreshing to know that there are spaces like this where it's really people being truly supportive of each other. And yeah, so I just want to say that. It means a lot. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
So, all right. So courage. It's funny. I'm glad you read that part of my bio about the Tasty Delight ice cream cone. And let me clarify that. So when I was a young ballerina, my teenage years, I was so afraid to even use my voice to say hi to a classmate. I was very, very, very shy. And so like there was some like informal yearbook thing going on at the end of the class. And because like I was like most likely to, because I would get like a Tasty Delight. I don't know if you guys, I'm aging myself, but Tasty Delight was like that, that like non-ice cream soft serve thing, back in the day. So I would like get one of those like every day, like before ballet class. And like that was like my friend. I would just be like eating my ice cream cone. So that's why I was voted most likely to be seen with the Tasty Delight ice cream cone. And like just reflecting on that, and that was like 20 years ago, how different things are now. And I don't say that because I'm not some like before and after thing of like, now everything's great and it's all wonderful and this is the final product. It's like, no, not at all. It's still such a journey and I'm learning so much and I'm constantly challenged at the next end of courage. But I think sometimes reflecting on where we've been can be like, oh, like, wow, I have come a long way. Like my courage has grown, even if I'm still being hard on myself, or even if these things that are coming up continue to be hard. It's like we can look and think back to like, what has shifted, So I guess along those lines, and I'm very open, like if people like, feel free to type into the comments if you have questions as I'm talking or anything, like and are we're going to do formal questions after this, Andre?
Yeah, after
okay.
You give us the goodness from on high, we're going to do a little Q&A, yeah.
Okay, all right, great. All right, so I'll go into it. So I wanted to share with you guys a tool today that I feel like has been really important for me and my ability to go from the girl who only spoke to her ice cream cone to someone who now has like spoken and performed on stages in front of hundreds of people. I do online things like this. There's a lot more, I'm a lot less shy, even though I'm still scared every time I start speaking. Like it still takes courage. And the tool that I want to share with you is something that I call the smallest possible action. And I'm going to explain what this is. We can call it SPA for short, SPA. So let me backtrack first and give you a little bit of a backstory. Apologies for the sirens. I live in New York City. I always feel like the sirens come in at the right time. They like highlight, they're like, yes, the smallest possible action. Let's take a moment and take that in. So when I say smallest possible action, what I mean is to not overcomplicate, overplan, overvision something, right? Like very often we're encouraged to be like, what's your dream? What do you want to do? And you're like, well, I want to be, I'm just going to use like, I want to be a touring rock band star, right? And it's like, and if right now you're a school teacher, that's going to feel really far away. And so it's like, well, how do I become a touring rock star? I don't know. I'm going to have to come up with a band name. I'm going to find bandmates and I'm going to have to like, you know, make a website and blah, 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 blah. And before we know it, we have this like book long list of all these things that we need to do to get there. And then what happens? Then we don't do it because it's overwhelming, and we shut down the impulse by seeing that big picture and then being like, I am so far from that. You know, that's like across the fence, on the other side of the grass, up on a hill, like it's way out there. Like, how the hell am I going to reach that thing? So the smallest possible action, what it allows you to do is like reel it in. Let's reel it in. Let's come back to the present. Let's not be focused on the thing way out there. Let's be focused in here, right? So using that example, the smallest possible action for the school teacher who dreams of being a touring rock star would be to, and it depends on where you are in your journey, right? But let's say you're already writing songs and you have some songs and you have a couple of bandmates. And if you don't, then the first step, the smallest possible action, if you have nothing at all, the first smallest possible action would be to start writing songs. Write a song every night after, you know, before you go to bed or after you get home from school or first thing in the morning when you wake up, right? Maybe it's like calling up a few friends or putting an ad on Craigslist to find bandmates, right? Like, how do you start so that, because here's the thing, our fear, the part of us that dreads like having to put ourselves out there, right, and step into our courage, that's going to do everything possible to sabotage you from actually doing the thing you want to do, right? I see some head nods, yeah. So it's like, that part of you is going to be like, of course, that's way too complicated. I'll never be a rock star, never going to do it, blah, 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 flush that idea down the toilet, show up every day to work and be miserable, right? Or whatever, I'm being dramatic, but you know what I'm talking about. So this is how we counteract it. We say, okay, well, blah, blah, blah. If I know that deep in like the seed of who I am will one day become the oak tree that is the rock star, what kind of nurturing does that seed need, right? That seed needs to be actively doing the thing so that you're in doing the thing, you build the confidence and you become more of that rock star every day. So like after like, you know, the smallest possible action is just writing the songs, write until like you feel good about what you wrote. And then the next level, smallest possible action is going to an open mic and performing it and doing that a shit ton until you feel like, okay, what's my next, right? So it's really about reeling it in. Like, how can you take the smallest possible step? Because every time you do that open mic or you write that song and you're in the flow of it and you feel like, yeah, this is great, that's going to amp up the courage side of it and start to diminish the fear side of it so that you don't let that fear side of it continue to hold you back. And before you know it, you're closer to the fence, and then you're over the fence, and then you're a little closer to the hill, and then you're walking up the hill. And then like, but you don't even realize you're doing this because you're so enjoying the moment and doing all those small steps that one day you wake up and someone's asking you to go on tour and you're like, oh my God, my dream is here. It's amazing, right? So it's like, let's do it that way. Let's reverse engineer the dream by taking the smallest possible action by starting within ourselves. So, and I'd love to share a little story from my own journey to help illustrate that, because that was just like, I love analogies. I won an analogy contest when I was in like 5th grade. I like really love making analogies. So, you know, it was like over the hill thing. It was the seed and the oak. I mean, I threw in a bunch at once, so I don't want to confuse you. So I figured what I would do is tell you a story that can help illustrate this as well. And the timing of today's call is really interesting because tomorrow, January 13th, is the 7-year anniversary of when I started my business. Okay. So 7 years ago, tomorrow, I held my first creativity workshop. And when I say business, it's the part of my business that's being a creative coach and a dance facilitator. So I led this first workshop 7 years ago. And up until that point, I had been working as a women's holistic health coach. And I was working for an organization that was lovely. And I was, you know, I had one-on-one clients. I was doing workshops. And it was what I thought I wanted to be doing because I wanted to help people. And I had quit ballet years before because I thought that dance was too selfish and I couldn't help people through dance. So I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to be a psychologist and then I'm going to be a health coach, right? So I'm doing this thing. But deep down, I had known that there was something missing. And I was like, there's a part of me that's not being expressed that I know really wants to. And for me, it was dance. And I had gradually started making these dance videos where I would just be alone in my room and I would flip on a camera and I'll be like, you know what? I'm too intimidated to go back into a dance class setting, but I can dance right here in my room and this is kind of fun. And what if I put on some lighting and music and whatever? And it was just like a personal thing. Like that was my smallest possible action, right? Like in my dream, I'm like, maybe I do want to be a dancer again and go on tour. But I was like, right now I have me, my body, my music, and my room. So, hey, this is my stage right now. And I'm going to accept that. And I'm going to be on this stage in my room. And so little by little, like the more that I started to dance, the more I noticed my work as a health coach was starting to shift. And I was like, I really just, talking about like food and all that was great, but I wanted to get into the meat of it with my clients. I was like, what's your passion? Like that's a part of your health too, right? Creativity is a part of our health. So I started to like, go into it with clients. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to break apart from this women's health organization and create my own thing. Like I want to move into more creativity and life coaching. I want to be, as I grow myself as an artist with the dance stuff, I want to like see what other people want to do with that too. So it's a long story, kind of long, but I'm trying to shorten it. I led this first workshop. And I put out a note to all of my contacts being like, hey guys, I'm doing something new. As I've been dancing more, I've been curious to see if anybody else in my network out there wants to like amp up their creativity in this new year. If you do, come to this free workshop, right? 10 people came. I decided to do it again every single month. I ended up doing it for like over 2 years, every single month, led this workshop. 6 months into the workshop, I put out a call to action, as they say, of like, I'm starting a program, a coaching program. If you would like to join, let's have a conversation. 4 clients, paying clients, my first 4 paying clients outside of the Women's Health Organization signed up for me 6 months in June. And then I took them on a 6-month program journey and I led a showcase at the end of that year and they performed and freed their creative spirits. And it was like, and that was essentially how I started my business, right? So, and since then, it's taken on so many evolutions. My next level after doing that for 2 years was focusing on dance. I started leading dance-specific workshops. And then, what else have I? I mean, it's taken on so many different things that I won't even go into all of it. Like now my next level is my own solo performance and like going to open mics and being on stage and like having this other facet of me come out, right? So I share all that to say that, I mean, this like seven years ago, I was in a totally different place. And now like, I actually might be going on tour later this year. And it's like, back then, 7 years ago, if I would have been like, I want to be a dancer again and I want to go on tour and I started constructing all the ways that I should do that and what is my logo going to look like, I would have stopped myself. I would have never done anything. But it's like those small steps. And for me, I'm a very late bloomer. So So I'm sure some of you out there are like much quicker. Maybe you're an Aries. Maybe you're just like, yeah, let's go. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start this thing over. For me, not like that at all. I'm a Taurus. I'm like very like, we're like slow, you know, we're like cows. We like to like eat the grass a little bit, take a little step forward, eat some more grass, right? So I've been like, I was very slow. So I was like, I didn't quit my job right away. I didn't like take any rash moves. I continued to do the women's health work. You know, I continued to like have income. I didn't just like quit and be like, I'm doing this new thing. Okay, universe, shower me with money. I was like, no, like, let me slowly build what I'm building. And it was, you know, like I said, like for me, I did like free or very low cost workshops for 6 months until I felt ready to start charging people, you know, and it grew from there. So, I think that's all I want to share with you guys today. You know, like the smallest possible action. And if anybody out there, if you have questions, or like where are you with your dreams and what's your vision right now? And maybe we can help you break down. Like I'd be more than happy to be, you know, a coach for you in this moment of like, what is the smallest possible action you can take? And this way you can leave this call feeling like, okay, I know what I'm going to focus on.
Yeah, I wanted everyone to write down in their book, Jess, that smallest possible action. That is a major takeaway, the SPA. And I think for me, the way I interpret the SPA acronym, just to be cheesy, is that is a way to relax, to spa.
I was thinking that too.
Okay, all right, Jacqueline was there. Yeah, it's a wonderful way to kind of relax into what you're trying to do. Also, you said something really, really cool about reverse engineering the dream. And I've never heard anybody say that before. That could be a trademark thing for you. But I love the idea of kind of seeing where you want to be and then kind of stepping back. And then I'm a huge fan of eating your elephant one small bite at a time, to not contribute to overwhelm. And then another thing I took away from you was the question of what is my logo going to look like? And I know we've got some singers and actors in this space. So what is my monologue going to sound like? Or what is my 16-bar cut going to sound like? That's the world I come from. What is my 8 count going to look like? That can get us so stuck sometimes because you're like, we just get paralyzed at the logo.
Exactly.
Anybody else have questions? You can come off of mute and ask questions of Jess or type them into the comment section. Wow, so many good things in here.
And if you don't have a question, but you have like a takeaway or something like that you want to share, you're also
absolutely welcome. Hold up and hold out.
I love the hold up and hold out thing. That's really great.
It's new. Like I'm trying it. You know, we're all experimenting.
And you
here.
said that's from the Unitarian Church?
Yeah, I'll send you
their principles.
I'll send you the link. Yeah, it's one of the things they use in their chalice circles to just really anchor people and, like I said, not getting off in the bushes, but kind of just really listening with the heart space. Looks like India came off of mute, so what you got?
Yes, hi. So what really resonated with me was the part where you were talking about fear. I believe that fear is with us. It's inevitable. It's something that we have to live with, but we can choose to allow it to drive. We can allow it to be in the passenger seat or in the back seat. And you can choose, I choose to put it in the trunk, because it's there. It's always there. But, so I loved that you allowed, fear to be there, but you still did it anyway. And I love the analogy, how you were like, I'm a Taurus. You said you were a Taurus, right?
Yeah.
And you eat the grass, you look up, you're like, okay, you take a few steps. Like, I loved that. I just wanted to say, like, that really resonated with me. So I do appreciate that.
I'm glad. I'm so glad that resonated. And what's your thing? You're an actress, I think you wrote in your...
Yes, I'm an actress. I'm actually moving to New York February 13th. So
amazing.
Yeah, where the fear's there. It's there. But we're taking it one step at a time, really just trying to take it literally one day at a time. So we'll definitely see. I just appreciate this. I'm living for all of this. So
we're glad you're here. Jess, of course, is here, and I'm here, and we can't wait to give you a good hug when you arrive in the city, and even digital hugs now. Cool backstory about India I'm going to tell on her is that we stood on a rooftop at a party one night after I finished the show, and she had the kernel of wanting to be in New York. And I think it had been something that she had toyed with before, but there was a small little seed of wanting to be here. And so the fact that February 13th is the day This is really, really cool, and it's just been a joy to support you and see you. Yeah.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Like, you have really helped. You, along with a lot of people. Like, I had an opportunity to kind of stay in New York, and I had a car full of stuff. I had a car, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go to Atlanta. That's safer. I have family there. It's safer. But now that, I've done this journey, which I don't regret. Like, Atlanta has been amazing. I've been able to build my resume in so many amazing ways. But it's now that, the car accident happened, I don't have a car. I'm like, what's happening? I prayed on it, like sat on it, and I'm realizing, okay, this is my moment to kind of uproot and do what I was supposed to do in the first place. So I'm happy about it.
Give it up, everybody, for Shifts.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments for Jess?
It's Solana. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah. Hey.
Hi, Dre. Hi, Jess. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Sorry, my camera off, but I'm out here looking crazy.
Look,
I've been running around everywhere.
Love City is a place for people that look crazy. Come on in the room.
No judgment.
But I just wanted to. It wasn't a question, more of an appreciation for Jess, because I got introduced to Jess through you, Andre, and just kind of that moment, or your spa moment, and kind of taking one step at a time. I've talked to Andre about it because I'm a writer, and that's kind of been my thing with dealing with trying to overcome my fears, because like you said, you're a Taurus. I'm an Aries for sure. I'm the one that jumps in and gets overwhelmed and then runs away because everything falls apart. So it's refreshing to kind of hear that, because, in my mind, like, I'm the person that has been thinking like, oh, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, and then get overwhelmed and not do it. So I just, first of all, Jess, I love following your Instagram. I appreciate all the work that you do. I love seeing Jeannie has danced with you, and I love seeing you guys dance. But also kind of that idea of taking, like you said, the smallest possible action, and not kind of, seeing the big picture first and getting overwhelmed by that, but kind of taking a step back and go, well, what can I do? What's this little step I can do first, versus like, oh my God, I don't have any of this stuff together. I'm never going to have it together. So let me just not do it, because I can't achieve it. It's too much. So.
Yeah, exactly. And like that image of you, like the Aries, like diving head first, like ramming your head into it, and then being like, and then like running away because it's like too much, right?
I was the one that quit my job, and I'm like, what am I doing again? Yeah. I'm overwhelmed. Like, we jump head first. We don't think. I'm trying to learn to be a better adult. Yeah. But I just want to say I so appreciate you guys. I mean, it's been so helpful.
Thank you for sharing. That means
Hi.
so much.
Oh, hey. Hi.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Sure. Yeah, we can hear you and we can see you sometimes. Go on. Yeah.
So I just appreciate Jess's perspective about the smallest possible action. I'm just that person that just dives in, that ambitious person that I don't know what's going to happen or where I'm going. I'm just going to do it. So I appreciate seeing the other perspective of why people don't finish or complete things. And I always ask myself, well, why do they start things and don't finish it? I'm not that person, but I understand now and I get it. And so as I develop my book coaching, I noticed that I need to have more patience and understanding. And I think that through this spa, the smallest possible action, that helps me to understand better people and why they...
I'm gonna jump in. What do you think if you had to pull it? I'm putting you on the spot here, so feel free to tell me to shut up if you need to. What do you think your smallest possible action today is?
For me today, my smallest possible action today, I had actually just got a ghostwriting contract. So I'm supposed to be writing a book for someone else. And today, I'm just going to do like an outline. What that person wants. Instead of me trying to dive into what he gave me, I'm just going to do like a little outline to start.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So that's just me. I just learned something new today, and I totally get it now. And I didn't understand, but now I get it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jess. Any response before we move to the next panelist?
I appreciate you guys sharing. Oh, did you have something else?
I'm so sorry. I do have a question. I have a legit question. Okay. So it just popped up and I'm like, oh my God, I have to ask this. Okay. So I'm an overthinker, like so much to the point I'm like overthinking. And then I look up and I'm like, oh, this opportunity passed by because I'm like trying to break everything down.
Mm-hmm.
I need some help with that. Like, how do you, like, I am someone that just goes for things. Like, I've accomplished things. So I know as far as like my history, my track record, as like, I know I believe that I can do something. I'm going to put my mind to it and I can do it. But when it comes to those big goals and those big plans that I do have, how do you allow yourself to just sit and just,
Can I answer?
Yes.
So I believe honesty is all in your mindset. And when you have a big goal, I like to tell people, break the goal down into small achievable goals.
Right.
So once you start achieving one thing, it also helps build up your confidence to know that I'm going to get to that big thing. So you have to break that big thing into smaller goals, but also put dates on it. So don't just say, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow. Tomorrow's not on the calendar. So always tell people, I don't want to hear tomorrow. I don't want to hear next week. What day on that calendar are you going to do this by?
She said tomorrow's not on the calendar.
No, it's not.
That's true. Jess?
Hashtag that, yes. Hashtag tomorrow's not on the calendar. Yeah, I love that, Sherry. And what I would add is like the key to smallest possible action is that it's an action. It's not a thought, right? A lot of times if you're overthinking, it's because everything's still in here and it's not actually coming out. So maybe it's just making a list of all the things that you're thinking about or wondering about or questioning. And then deciding, okay, like what am I physically going to do? And if you don't know, take a dance break. Because dance breaks are the way that we can get out of our head and get into our bodies, which helps that overthinking, right? It helps you get out of like, I don't know, blah, 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 right? It's just like, shake it out, let it out, blah, and just dance. And then after you dance, I guarantee you'll have a different perspective. You might not have all the answers necessarily, but like, see, dance into your answers. That's on my thing right there. That's like one of my mottos. Dance into your answers. Like, allow yourself to move, and then allow, things will at least you'll be clear on the next smallest possible action after you dance.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank
you. Good. Thank you, Jess. You can follow Jess at,
I'll type it into the chat, at Jess Grippo, JessGrippo.
Yeah, and then also shameless plug, you can follow her programming and her business at, type it into the thing.
youcandanceagain.com.
Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Let's see, I'm going to try.
Oh, wait, can I jump in real quick? It's me, Kamara. I'm like not a face because I also look crazy today, and one of these days I won't.
You're a face. Go on, jump in real quick.
All right, I just want to really quickly tell Jess, like, first of all, everyone, your whole mood, because, like, resonation, sorry, I don't even know if resonation is a word, but I resonate with everything, the overthinking, everything. But I really want to comment on the idea of late blooming, because that's something that really, like, messes with me all the time. Plus, also, since we're all talking science, I'm a Sag, by the way. Hi. Yeah. I'm a Virgo rising, so I'm neurotic and crazy. So it's like, I always get worried about, like, I'm only 22, but I always get worried about, like, oh my God, I need to, like, get this done. I want to be at that place already where, like, I have this and that and can do this and that. So the idea of, like, just knowing that it's never too late. Like, the other day, actually, I think I saw a post, talking about how Ava DuVernay, the lady who made Queen Sugar on the OWN network and other such, I think the post said she started when she was like 36 or something, like started writing or picked up a camera for the first time at 36. And I'm like, sis, thank you for that. Even I think like Taraji started acting when she was like 26. So I guess it's a big number there. But it's like I see everybody like they're just following their dreams regardless of how long it takes them. And me, it's like I think about who I was in high school that was literally trying to start a company when I was 16. Oh, there's a 16. So it's like I always am just like, oh my God, but that should have happened. But I just love when people give me that hope that it's like it really is never too late as long as you're willing to just jump in one day.
Yeah, thank you. Jacqueline says in the chat that you can see I'm 40 and I just started following a 6-year-old dream. You go, girl. You got this. And I want to remind everyone that were into the Black Panther hype in the space that the older lady, remember the older lady that was sitting in the council? She was the very oldest lady on the council member. That was her first acting gig. And she was like upper 80s. So it's never too late. All right, let's keep on pushing. Now let's see. Okay, so Anna Stone, another cool person. Can everyone still hear me? Thumbs up. Yes. Okay. Anna Stone is a teacher. Let me just take a breath. Everyone, just take a breath because sometimes I don't breathe enough in my life. So good. Thank you, Jess Grippo, for your awesomeness. And now up next is Anna Stone. Anna Stone is a teacher, writer, dancer, and the founder of Infinity Plus One. I just love that name. Living in New York City, Anna works as a professional dancer and teacher to fellow artists. Through her work as a teacher, she discovered a deep passion for authenticity, for the idea that we can create the reality of our dreams by being our most authentic selves. Through her teaching and her deep passion for empowering others, Infinity Plus One was born. IPO is a community dedicated to inspiring everyone's capacity to do hello action by identifying, confronting, and resolving the challenges that we all face as people. We work together to resolve these challenges to set our inner power free. Because when we learn to accept and love our authentic selves, truly, anything is possible. And by simply being you, you have the power to live the life of your dreams. Welcome, everybody, Anna Stone.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Thank you so much. And I just first want to say thank you, Andre, for having me. This is incredible. And I just want to reiterate what you said at the very beginning about the fact that we are never alone. Like just the fact that we are all sitting here in one room, even though we're in different rooms, but in one room and sharing these experiences and what we're going through, that's incredible and beautiful. So I just want to empower all of you to really celebrate the fact that you showed up for yourself today. I think that in life, we have so much going on and we get caught up in how busy we are and things that are happening that it gets really easy to not take the time for yourself and to do things like this on a Saturday, but you showed up and I think that that's incredible. And I'm like already so inspired and so excited. I'm resonating with like everything that you said, Jess, and just everything that's happening. So yay. Let's dive right in. I'm actually going to reiterate a lot of what you said at the beginning with the definition of courage, but I'm gonna go through all that because courage is actually one of my favorite words of all time. And I fell in love with the word courage when I learned where the word came from. Because I, just like you said, Andre, every time I thought of courage, I thought of big flashy moments, heroic acts. It was the strength that other people had, not necessarily me, it was the strength that other people had. But then I learned where the word came from, what it originally meant. So I'm gonna say that again. It originates from the Latin word cor, which means heart. And in its earliest form, courage meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Meaning courage is being true to who you are in all moments, in all that you do. Quite literally, the most courageous thing you can do with your life is to share your heart with the world. I find that to be the most beautiful thing ever. Like I read that and I learned that and it totally shifted my perspective. Because when I hear that definition and when I look at that, I see two really important things. I first and foremost see that courage is attainable for every single person. Because if courage is rooted in your heart and your truth, that's something that we all have. And that's also something that's unique to every single person. So your brand of courage is going to be unique to you, which is super, super cool. And then second, it tells us that courage is a choice, which is awesome. We always have the choice to be true to us. be true to your heart and yourself and share that with the world and make decisions day in and day out that are in line with that. Or we have the choice to keep our true self hidden and guarded and maybe do and live our lives in a way that's the way other people think that we should live our lives, or what someone else wants from us, or what someone else thinks we should be doing in a way that's pleasing everyone else but you. We always have that choice between those two. So depending on where you are on your own specific journey with courage, like if you're sitting here and you don't feel like you've really gotten into your groove of living super true to you, or maybe you're not totally in touch with who your core self is, the cool thing about courage is that it's something that we can learn and it's something that we can develop. So if you think of courage like a muscle, the more you exercise it, the more often you choose it, the more you use it, the stronger it's going to become, the easier it's going to become, the more it's going to become a part of you. It's not something you simply have or you don't have, it's something you can develop. Now, to further illustrate this, I'm going to tell you a story about me. I'm going to take a lot of years and condense them into a short period of time. But so I'm very similar to Jess. As a kid, I was like the shyest kid you can possibly imagine. I would hardly speak. I hid behind my mom's legs wherever I went. I have very vivid memories of crying and crying when I had to walk into a dance class alone. So shy. And as I got a little bit older and into high school, that translated into me being more of a follower. And what I mean by that is I'm someone who I loved structure and I loved direction. I loved being told exactly what to do so that I could do a good job. I loved school for that reason, because it was okay, you have to do X, Y, and Z to get good grades. Great, I can do that. I know how to do that. And since I was young, this wasn't something that was intentional. It wasn't something that I wasn't intentionally doing things that I was trying not to be true to myself. I genuinely thought that was the right thing to do and the right way to live. So if we fast forward from that, if that's how I started, fast forward to graduating college, moving to New York City, and all of a sudden I am an adult who is in charge of building her own life and building her own schedule. And I had no idea how to do it. So what I did is I really clung to friends and the methods that they found that worked for them, searching for and holding on to some familiar form of guidance that I could find. Until eventually I found myself in a really deep and dark depression. I was completely unhappy and I was contemplating totally uprooting my life and moving away and doing something totally different. I spent months going back and forth being I don't want to live here anymore. I don't want to do this. I was convinced that my problem was rooted in where I was living and the career path that I had chosen. But I dug a little bit deeper into myself and this problem. I started reading a lot of personal development books, hoping to gain a little bit of perspective. And I found myself face to face with the fact that I had no idea who I was. I had no idea what I liked to do for fun. I had no idea what my opinions were. I had no idea what my point of view was. I had no idea who Anna the human was. I remember repeating the question over and over, how do I spend so much time with myself and have no idea who I am? So what this did is it catapulted a journey of curiosity and self-discovery, which in hindsight was a journey and crash course on courage. So what I did is I started spending intentional time with myself. I began following curiosities that I had. For instance, I had always had a desire and an interest in painting and making things, but I was not ever very good at it, and I didn't think I was very good at it, and I never really considered myself a creative person, which I know is weird since I'm a dancer, but was the thing. So I kind of threw myself into that. I spent my days making things. I went to Goodwill, found things, and started upcycling them, and really just kind of started to try and find my voice, both as an artist and as a human. who am I? What is my voice? What do I think? And while I was doing this, I started sharing what I was doing on Instagram. You know, I, not super, super in depth, but started just sharing what I was doing and what my experiences were. And in hindsight, looking at that, it's like, I know up until that point in my life, I had done courageous things, but that moment was the first moment that I began to truly understand what choosing courage meant and what it meant to truly take ownership of my own life. And it all just continued to snowball from there. So this journey led me to a sense of clarity within my life that I had never experienced before, and ultimately is what led to building Infinity Plus One, because that journey led me to a really specific moment. So it led me to a moment that happened in my living room in New York City, my last apartment. I was watching the Tony Awards with one of my roommates, one of my oldest friends, and while we were watching, I think it was the opening number, I said out loud, I'm going to be on Broadway by this time next year. And something shifted the moment I said that. It was like I made this promise to myself, like it was very declarative, and I was like, nope, we're gonna do this. And over the next like few weeks and few months, I started working this into my conversations. Like I remember going home and family would ask me like, what are you doing? What's going on with you? And I would say that I was working towards making Broadway a reality. And then I sat down to have dinner with my boyfriend and one of my oldest friends in the world, and I was talking about and explaining this goal. And they had the idea, to turn this journey and this process into a blog series. They were like, you could call it #Broadway by June, and you could document your journey and your experiences. And I was like, cool, but nope. Like that was, when I heard it, I was like, that is way too vulnerable of a thing to do. Do I actually have anything to say? Would anyone care what I had to say? People would think I was just bragging. People would think I wanted attention. Like I totally shut it down. I was like, no way. But over the course of the next like week or so, the conversation continued. And through the eyes, specifically of my boyfriend, I started to see how empowering and how helpful this could be, how me sharing my story could be a positive thing for other people. And so I decided to do it. And so I made my first post in August. And so for just under a year, I spent documenting my journey weekly. And it was really important to me that I was sharing all of it. So I wasn't just sharing like, hey, I got a call back, and hey, this went really well. It was like, no, I'm sharing the good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between, all of it. Like I wanted every part of it to be seen and heard, and I wanted it to always be my voice, like really make sure that I was being seen in all of it. And it was probably the most incredible experience I've had to date. Like it was amazing, not just in the sense that like the feedback was really incredible, but also the beautiful connection that was formed by me simply sharing my truth and people being able to say, oh my God, like me too. Like, thank you for saying that. I never knew how to articulate that. And just, it gave other people an outlet to own something that they never knew how to own before, which was awesome. And then it also really rooted me in the center of myself. So I learned how much I really love writing, and I learned how much I love empowering other people, and how this is the type of work I want to do with the rest of my life. It like guided me right into my center, which was awesome. So when Broadway by June ended, Infinity Plus One was born. So I took a leap because I couldn't just end and have it be done. So I built Infinity Plus One. I bought the website domain. I began rebranding my social media, and I've made a commitment to help as many people as I can work through their personal challenges so they can live their life on their terms. And I wouldn't be where I am in this moment if it wasn't for clarity and courage. So if courage is speaking one's mind by telling all one's heart, we have to be clear on who we are and what it is that we want, so that we can make the courageous choices that are in line with that. But I think it's also really important to note that you don't have to have it all figured out before you take that courageous leap. You figure it out as you go. Like they go hand in hand, they work together. Like you gain clarity within yourself, and then you make courageous choice. And within that choice, you gain more clarity and you make another leap, and it goes on and on and on. We're in this lifelong journey, learning about ourselves and showing up in our lives courageously in line with who that person is. It's not a decision we make once and it's done. It's a day-to-day actionable thing that we do, and we're always learning, always growing. You know, through that story, with every courageous step that I took and have taken, it's because I gained clarity in who I was and what I wanted. And then that step made sense. Like, it was a step that I had to take because it was so rooted in me that I was like, it doesn't matter if I'm scared, because you're going to be scared. Like what everyone has been saying so far, fear doesn't disappear. Fear is always going to be there, but being rooted in yourself and knowing why you're doing something makes it possible to find the strength to make that leap and make that choice. So to kind of finish, there are two major points that I want you to remember and to take away. So one, courage is a muscle. Like the more you choose it, the more you choose to show up as yourself, you're going to notice that courage becomes a part of who you are, part of your character. It will get easier and more natural. So start by making small, courageous commitments to yourself and then show up for them. Like maybe it's setting aside 10 minutes a day to journal about yourself, your strengths, your values, your likes, your dislikes, or maybe it's going to a networking event. But make that commitment and show up for it, because the more you do it, the more trust you're going to develop within yourself, and the more courage becomes a part of who you are. Second, remember that you aren't on this journey alone. Lean on the people in your life that you trust and love. You know, if it wasn't for my boyfriend and my friend giving me that support and that encouragement to start that blog, like 99.9% sure I would have never done it. I would not have created Infinity Plus One. Me on my own, it would not have happened. I don't have that in me. I need a push sometimes, and that's okay. I recognize that I need to lean on the people in my life. So know that you aren't alone. Like whether it's one person, two people, five people, the number doesn't matter. But trust in them and let them in on this journey. Like if you've decided to say, okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes a day, tell them that you're doing that. So you ask them to text you and ask how it's going, keep you accountable for that. Or if there's an event that you want to go to, ask them to go with you so that you have that support and familiar face that will make you feel more comfortable. But know that you are not alone in any of it. And also you have this community and you have so many things out there that can be of support to you. And then remember that these things take time. You know, all of this inner work and this really important stuff that makes our life worthwhile, it takes time. There are no quick fixes. So be patient, be kind, and be loving with yourself, because you deserve and can have all of it. Yeah.
Yes, give it up for Anna Stone. Very good. Very, very good. I'm going to open up for questions in a second, but I'm going to highlight some things that came up for me. We've talked, multiple people have talked about their inner child, and I'm not sure if anybody in the space is familiar with inner child work through psychology. I'm not going to teach that class in here, but look up some books about inner child work, because I noticed that Jess and Anna's inner children were like shy and timid, so they had to work with their inner child, even as adults, to make that person more courageous. My inner child was very courageous and was asking people about everything, and then as he got older, he shrunk back and stopped talking to people. So then now I'm having to work with that little guy to bring him back out, despite what I appear in this space to be like. It's very hard for me sometimes to oh man, I got to shower and come up in here and lead people. So it just all depends on where your space is. So I want to encourage everyone to investigate their inner child, like Anna has, and recognize the connection. She said sharing your truth gives permission. Sometimes we get so in our head we think that our gifts are all about us. But when you come out wherever you are, you give people permission to be their most authentic selves. I wanted to ask Anna, you said that you started reading personal development books to help you along the path. And I'm going to give you a second to think about it, but I'm a big fan of like nibbling on, guru-ish, that's not even a word, kind of books. Were there any self-development books or personal development books that really like knocked it out of the park for you?
Absolutely. So I am a diehard Brene Brown person. Yeah. So if you know her, she's incredible. So she's a PhD, and she teaches at the University of Houston, and she's a shame researcher. So she does a lot of work with perfectionism and wholehearted living and vulnerability, and her work has transformed my entire life. I actually learned about her originally through the teaching work that I do, and I started teaching a lot of the stuff that she does, and it changed me. So all of her books I highly recommend. I started with The Gifts of Imperfection, which is mind-blowing. It's amazing. And I know for myself, when I take the time to read those types of books, I am so much better on staying on the path that I want to be on. So I've started really implementing at least 5 to 10 minutes every single morning to read a little bit of a personal development book, so that I can start my day on that note. But she's really great. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert is really, really incredible. And right now I am in the middle of, so I'm not totally done, but I'm reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, Covey. And it's blowing my mind in every single way. It takes just all of the things that I love and I believe in and helps put them in really actionable, digestible terms. So I feel like it works really well no matter what type of thinker you are. It can, if you're more of an academic brain type, or whether you're a creative type, or a mix of the two. We all have so many things inside of us. But it's really, really, both my boyfriend and I are reading at the same time, and our brains work very differently, and both of us are just loving it. So I highly recommend that too.
Cool. I love it. And for those of you who may not have a smallest possible action, see what I did there? You may want to just get these books on tape and have them in your ear on the train or in the car. Maybe your smallest possible action. I highly recommend The Gifts of Imperfection. That also wrecked my life. It was one of those books where I had to on the train be I just got. I felt like Brene, who's a Texas, I think she's in Texas based, I was like, you are reading my entire life right now. I can't do this. I had to shut the book up the train. So yeah, cool. Any write the titles? Oh, Kamara's asking that you write the titles in there. So I'll leave you to it. Yeah, this is great. Any other questions for Anna as I make her do double duty by writing titles and also fielding questions? Anything else coming up from her talk?
I'll say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Also, thank you, Anna, for everything you stated so far. This is Kimara, by the way, in case no one I'm gonna have my face next week. Don't worry. But I think one thing that came up for me that really hits hard is the finding people to almost kind of invest in your dream and support with you. That's actually a big conversation I've been having with my friends lately, because I always have people oh yeah, I support you, Key. I love you, Nye. You're gonna do great. Oh yeah, do you want me to buy your book? But they never buys it. You want to hang out, but we never get the chance to actually hang out and collaborate. And it's I almost feel just so much I feel so much fear and a lot of times I guess no one cares or has that love for me, because I'm how am I supposed to do anything without people? The thing is, I've done a lot of things without help. I've made my books and bought them and went to venues and sold them. I put up stuff and take down art and do all that stuff. I put together a book release all by myself and fundraise the money all by myself. And it's like, I know I can do these things alone, but I don't want to. I shouldn't have to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so difficult because I know that maybe the idea of like there has to be at least one in your life, but I so oftentimes feel like there isn't. Because I always see people talk about how they would like to support me or see my growth and see my greatness, but then I see them helping the next person or start a collaborative effort with the next person. And I just maybe want to know, like, how do you keep that faith when you really can't, like, notice anyone in your corner?
Yeah.
Can I answer?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So the answer to that would be to change your circle. And I don't mean to say that the people in your circle are you should get rid of them. What I mean is that you need to find people that business minded and they're trying to do the same thing as you, because those are going to be your biggest supporters. And like for me, nobody in my media circle supports me. I'm a author of 8 and they don't buy my books. They just don't. So I had to go and find other people. And they don't have to be in the same industry. They could be making cakes. You write books, but they'll still support you because they have friends. And, you need to network. And my biggest place to network is on Facebook. Facebook has thousands of groups on there. You go in there and you just network, introduce yourself, and you will find. That's where I found a lot of my close friends from. And I don't even know them. I've never met them, but we have that connection that we're friends, but I don't know them. I've never met them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you want to connect this? Like, honestly,
again?
like, everybody in here is amazing. Like, I was telling Sherry, like, you want to connect? Because, I mean, honestly, like, it's just one of those things where, like, because I have been trying to change my circle, and I definitely had to realize that part of changing a circle is really getting honest with yourself and like changing where you're at, because I also too have struggled with depression, everything from like suicide attempts to like actually being in psych wards, and now I'm a mental health advocate among other types of social justice issues. And I really use my story to try and better myself and others in similar situations. But I feel like part of that's why I always got like these really bad, toxic or unsupportive relationships, because I guess that vibe and that energy I was putting out. And now now I'm growing myself, I feel like I'm finding better people for me. But I'm still at that place where it's like I'm changing a circle. But I mean, this is part of like.
I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to interject. I want you to, and this is being very bold on my part, okay? So I love you.com, okay? Would you take a breath right now? Take one more.
Okay.
Mash, you take one more.
Okay.
And I want you to feel the energy of being not lost, but found. Because everything that you're asking for is right here with you now. And so you can drop the story. I'm about to like cry. You can drop the story of being lost and not having tribe and not having support, because it's right here.
Oh, thank you.
It's right here, Ashe. Now I'm going to say it's right here. And you just inspired me, because I've been trying to figure this out. And I think that mostly everybody, I know people are like abandoning Facebook and running away, but I'm going to start like a online roundtable powwow Facebook group. And I'm just going to send you the link to it in email, so that we can, if you want to, you said to Sherry just now, like, hey, you talk about connect, let's connect. You can connect there. Yeah, you no longer have to tell yourself the story that you don't have people that want to support you and love you and see you succeed, and be your cheerleader, because there's 10 of us right here. Yeah, and this is very, very real. This is very authentic. I can speak. I don't like speaking for people, because I've met Jess has shown up to my events and I've shown up to hers, all in the spirit of support. All in the spirit of love. Anna tried a couple times to teach me how to pot a beret and improve my dance skills, and I ran away into the. So I got to find courage on that. Very real talk. These are not people in the space, and even the strangers up, stranger danger. Even the new people that I'm meeting. Jacqueline's smile right now that you can see is like putting off so much like I'm here for you energy. It just makes me. I just feel to overflowing. So I want to invite you. I want to invite your smallest possible action today. So taking from Jess your smallest possible action today, and then taking from Anna your intentional time with yourself. I want you today to just sit for about 15 minutes in the idea that your story's changing, and it's changing faster than perhaps your mind can catch up with.
Yeah.
And that you've carved this groove into like, where's all the people? Where's all the people? Like, you've carved that groove so strong that it almost feels natural to fall into that. And I've done that too. I'm like, I told myself like, nobody wants to listen to my thing, Lord. And like, and you're saying, oh, because there you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to start that within the next day or so. I really, really encourage you to get in there and then do what you do and say, hey, I'm, Kamara, and I want to connect with y'all. And we just start building these bridges. And it may not look initially, I'm going to shut up in a second, but it may not look initially like what you think it's going to look like. And I want yourself to be open to the idea that the conceptions that you have in your mind about success and community and people, I want you to open yourself to the idea that support is coming from many different ways for you. And I want you to get, someone said something about, it was Anna that said something about curiosity, right, Anna?
Yes.
And get curious that the universe could blow your effing mind. Get curious about the idea that you think it's going to come from, this person and that person, but that the universe has orchestrated some stranger somewhere on the corner of 46th and 8th that will be turning the corner. When you turn the corner, you'll be like, those moments you're like, don't I know you from somewhere? And you don't know that person from somewhere. I'm not talking about the creeps. All right, I'm not talking about all that bullshit. I'm talking about the person where you're like, oh my goodness, there you are. I think that because you want to be found so bad, the universe is looking for you. Panelists, what say you to that heart cry?
Thank you so much, by the way. Thank you.
Yo, you know you're loved already.
Yeah, I want to take a second and just first I want to just honor your experiences that you have so far, and just I 100% relate to what you've said, and props to all of the things that you've accomplished and done on your own. That's incredible, and that drive is really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm like, I recognize in like myself, I'm someone who I don't have a big circle, and I sometimes feel really self-conscious about that and feel like I should have more people in my life, and I just don't. I don't connect to people. I don't connect to a lot of people easily. The more I do things like this and find more like-minded people, it's becoming easier, but it's taken me a long time to find that. So I understand and I relate, so I just want to honor that experience. I think recognizing your worth and what you deserve in your relationships is really, really huge, and setting the boundaries for what you will accept is really helpful. And then everything that Andre said, I want to second that. You have this community. I will personally say, like, if you want to DM me on Instagram or find me on Facebook, I am more than happy to be a consistent conversation voice of support, and in a way that you need. You have.
Oh, thank you. Y'all are so great.
Of course. That piece is so important, to have that support and that love, and it can be in different forms than we used to think. And that's been a hard one for me. Like, it can be a virtual connection. It doesn't always have to be in person. And
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So just, you know, knowing what you deserve in relationships and really seeing that, visualizing that clearly. I'm a big believer in manifestation and bringing yourself to who you want to be for that relationship, and being that and putting out that that's what you want, and allowing the universe to bring that to you. And I think that it's doing that a little bit right in this moment, that it's bringing you all of these people in this community. So you have it in Andre's community and this community, and
you know, an infinity plus one, and you could dance again. Like, there's there's three, there are three communities in this space that want to do nothing but love you. Like, no bullshit. Like, just love you. So there's that. Jacqueline, I just feel like I know that you didn't volunteer to speak, but I just want to hear your heart. And that may take some courage on your part. But, she's like, I got this.
I got this.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Thank you for everybody who spoke today. Everything really, it's very interesting, because I also feel like the universe has been speaking to me lately, and I've been looking for my people, if you will, and I feel like I definitely have found them today in this group, whether virtual or near or far or whatever. But a lot of the stuff that Jess had said earlier spoke with me, because I am a Libra, so I debate the bejesus out of everything all the time, and I don't take that little step. But I also have the 10,000 things that make it overwhelming. So the thing that you had said that resonated with me mostly was the cow eating the grass. Go ahead and take the step, chew it, look around, and then, you know, take that next little step. So that was huge for me. I made a lot of notes here, sorry. So yeah, definitely the smallest possible action really resonated with me. And then the thing that Anna said was, not to get into too much detail, but a long time ago I was going through a breakup, and I was like, do I want to break up with him? Do I not want to break up with him? Same thing. What do I even like? I didn't even know me. So I sought out a therapist. I'm like, she's like, what are you here to talk about? I'm like, I don't know what I like to do. I don't know if my thoughts are real. I don't know if what I even say to people is what I really feel. It was like this holy, who am I? And I think that was like at 33. So I felt like my whole life was this waste of doing nothing. So I started reading personal development things and going to classes and networking. And that's what brought me to know who I call as my tribe at this moment. A couple really close friends who you can bounce ideas off, and they support you. And if they don't know how to, or really don't want to because their vision is not aligned with mine, then they know people who maybe you should talk to her. So it's like this big web of awesome that I feel like is happening today. I feel like this little seed in the tree is growing with the people and the connections we've made today. So that's really great. And the last thing I wanted to say with what Anna said is you're never alone. In my going to school and doing all this stuff, I do a lot of things, and I created some debt because I love to travel. So I wanted to know how to get out of debt. So I actually was very, it wasn't a blog, but it was basically just on Facebook. I professed to the world that I was in major, major debt. And this is why I spent $400 a month on Starbucks and $600 a month, believe it or not, on makeup. I don't even wear makeup. So you'd be surprised at how many people were like, me too, and I don't know how to get past that, or how did you find out how to whatever. And then again, we made this little community where we could all just not be alone, and it was awesome. So anyway, everything you've all said today has really been, I've just been like, yes, I know, yeah. So I want to thank you all for that.
Well, welcome to the community. And like I said, the support is real and vetted. And I want to echo what Anna said about like hitting us up in the DMs. I'm usually, because I'm a bit of a, I don't think I've even seen this movie to be making this reference, but Rain Man, like my brain just constantly goes to like 3 or 4 in the morning. So I'm always available to people till that time.
This is a dumb question, but what is DM?
Oh, direct message. So
okay.
Like if you're on Twitter or if you're on, yeah, I know. I'm an upper cusp millennial too. And
okay.
my DM was a string with a can in the backyard. My DM was like calling people on the phone and like, you know.
I'm just gonna ask. I don't give a damn.
Look, vulnerability.com.
always ask.
Always works. Okay, before I go into the end of call announcements, because like I said, I want to respect your time. We got 7 minutes to go. I want to give anybody a last moment to make a 1 or 2 sentence statement, or before we go. The floor is open to share. Anyone? I'm going to start that Facebook group of online roundtable peeps or something. We'll call it something cool, and then I'll just, like I said, I'll send a link. And you don't use Facebook as much as Instagram, but my Facebook is okay. Cool. Yes. We got you. So I'm going to start that just so that so we just have that. And I don't know when that could come in handy for people, but it'll be there because tools are cool. We talked and had so much awesome time going back and forth that all the questions that I had for the open discussion are not even needed. Look at the universe. The next online roundtable is going to be on the 26th of January. There's no pressure to be here. I would love to see everyone who's in the space and then some here. I would love for you to tell your friends and your family about what's happening here in this space. But I want to keep it very, very light in 2019. My word for 2019 is gentleness. And so if for some reason you wake up on that Saturday morning and you're like, I had that extra tequila and I'll watch the replay in a couple weeks, then do that as well. But I think that you can see the value of actually being in the space and like balancing and being able to show up for yourself. So that's going to be on the 26th of January. Vulnerability says, I don't have a topic planned. So in the group that I'm going to create, if you have something that you want to really talk about, you'll be out from, okay, cool. We'll do the replays and we'll be holding space for you. If you have a topic, I'm looking for inspiration. That's going to come any day now. But even if we need to show up and look at each other and be like, this week was like, wow, we can call it that. So anyway, the 26th of January. For those who would like a weekly source of accountability and check-ins, I've created a systematic approach through the use of Love City Arts Mastermind Alliances. I don't claim Mastermind Alliances. That's a thing that's been around forever. But if you want a group where you can be held to your visions and create vision boards, and you get like a Tuesday check-in and a Saturday check-in where I say, hey, have you done your smallest possible action? That's available. You can register for that through lovecityarts.org. For those of you who want to be in the know about future programming, such as the one that we shared today, visit lovecityarts.org and enter the site to sign up for our digital newsletter. I've started in 2019 to try to catch up with my friend Jess, who's an inspiration, and say more through that channel to make sure people are in the loop. As you can see, we constantly inspire each other. So I'm like, you know what? Jess really speaks to her peeps. I should probably do that too in 2019. So I'm taking a cue from Jess. So please sign up for that. I promise not to spam you, but that's the way that you know what's going on. The always awkward conversation, but I'm opening myself to abundance in 2019. There's a digital passing of the hat. In the email that I'm going to send up as a follow-up to this call, I'm going to put a link to a little donor box that sits on the website. $1, $5, $10, whatever you have, feel free to just pop on there and just send a donation. To put up this, this Zoom meeting is $15 a month. To send out, Facebook announcements and ads that cost I do like $1 or $2 at a time. I'm not like wasting money when it comes to the business, but it does cost something. So anything that you can help to contribute, if this has really enriched your life, please feel free to donate. If you don't have it to donate, because I know what it's like to be on that last package of ramen. Okay, all right. There's a couple blocks of chicken mushroom hanging out in the other room, okay? Because chicken mushroom ramen, the blocks I'm talking about. Shit's banging, okay? Preach, India, right? So if you don't have it to give, if you have it to give, please try to give. If you don't have it to give, blast my ass with love, okay? Blast Love City Arts with love, because the more love and energy I can have, that will make room for abundance. So money or love or all of the above, D. You could choose that. That'd be cool. Fill out the exit survey. I'm going to start a chat in the new group that I'm creating to ask you your feedback. I know that as we get into warmer months, it's easier for me to stay inside on colder months because, like, anybody trying to play around with New York and their 21-degree wind chill factor out in these streets. But as we get into warmer months, you're probably going to want to be on the beach. So I want feedback from you about what times work for you and what times you think work for your friends, so we can tailor this product. I hate calling it a product, but it is a product in marketing terms, this gathering, this online roundtable around what your needs are. I want to say a big thank you to the donors that we do have for their financial support through Patreon and also through the donor box online. And for my team, the Board of Governors, I got a Board of Governors because we're working towards nonprofit status. They are the people that on a Wednesday night I say, hey, I need to test the Zoom connection to make sure that it's not going to fail for the 10 participants that are coming on Saturday. And they go, let's just jump online. I cannot thank Kimberly Dacus-Wilson and Jean Lachey Ellis and Tamisha Binky Williams. I can't thank my Board of Governors enough for being a support to create spaces for you. Digital round of applause to them. And lastly, if you like the work of Love City Arts, 1 minute to spare, please spread the word. We rely on you to get the word out about all that we're doing. We're not peddling anything other than love and encouragement. That's what's being shaken out in these streets. I think it's a great thing. Please let your family and friends know, and fellow artists know about the work if you're moved to do so. I'm going to follow up, like I said, via email and also that Facebook group, which will be tagged there. Thank you so much to Jess Grippo from You Can Dance Again, Anna Stone from Infinity Plus One. I can't wait to see you digitally online. I'm thinking in the spring, this is like a teaser, in the spring we're going to do New York City adult play dates where we get into rooms and we make puzzles and we get Jess. I'm bringing Jess into a thing that she doesn't even know about. You get Jess in the corner dancing and doing movement exercises. We have a painting corner. We're just gonna play, which is Brene Brown, Anna. And so look for that in the spring. But in the meantime, we'll meet digitally here. Thanks again, everyone. Hope to see you next time in person or online as we share the love with each other. And 1:30, we're done. I love you. I love you. Have a great, great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a great day, y'all. I see you, Kamara. Thank you. Thank you, Alana. Harungma, thank you. Malia, thank you so much. I'll learn how to pronounce your name in 2019. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.